Howdy folks, and welcome to the Ultimate Dungeon and Arena Nightblade tank build. And now Nightblades are not extremely popular tanks these days, but I would argue that if you're trying to do what everyone's doing nowadays, this being 3D runs, or trying to do the achievement runs for skins or personalities, Nightblade tanks can actually be extremely beneficial to you and your group. And this tank has been designed with all that in mind. Now you may ask, why Nightblade? Well, that is because a Nightblade tank has unique skills and capabilities that make your life a lot easier. If you're doing a 3DD run, this tank can be a healer as well. Not as good as a proper healer, but better than no healer at all. It has nearly unlimited sustain and exceptional survivability, while providing you and your group with much needed buffs. So this is an Argonian Nightblade. As you can see, I put 20 points into Magicka and 44 points into health, which gives me 23.6k Magicka, 42.6k health, and 23.6k stamina. My magic recovery is 1.2k and my health recovery is also 1.2k, or very close to that number. I'm using the Atronach Mundus Stone and my food is Bewitched Sugar Skulls. You can use any Tri-Stat food that is available. It can be Crown Fortifying Meal, or any other Tri-Stat food that is available either from guild stores or you can craft it yourself. And now let's look at the skills. On the front bar I'm using Silver Leash, which is there to pull the ranged enemies towards the group. The next skill is Dark Cloak, which is fantastic survivability tool, because it gives me 4.4k heal every 1 second over 5 seconds, but also it gives me minor protection for 12 seconds, reducing the damage taken by 5%. The next skill is Defensive Stance, which is from the One Hand and Shield skill line. This gives me 13.2k damage shield for 6 seconds. It also reflects the next harmful direct damage projectile cast at me, and while I have a shield equipped, the amount of damage I can block is increased by 10%, and the cost of blocking is reduced by 10%. So this helps tremendously with survivability and sustain. Next skill is Heroic Slash, to provide me with minor heroism, which gives me 1 ultimate every 1.5 seconds for 12 seconds. And the last skill is Pierce Armor, which is the taunt, and it also inflicts minor and major breach on the enemy, reducing their physical and spell resistances by almost 9k for 15 seconds. The ultimate is the Aggressive Horn, which is from the Assault skill line. And on the back bar, I'm using Mirage. This is a fantastic survivability tool because it gives me major evasion and minor resolve, and that reduces the damage from area attacks by 20% and increases my physical and spell resistance by almost 3k. Now, every boss has some kind of AoE attack. Most of them like even more than one. Or even mobs in dungeons have AoE attacks. And this reduces the damage from those attacks by 20%, which is huge. The second skill is Blockade of Frost. This is there to proc the Crusher enchant on the back bar. Third skill, Echoing Vigor. Next skill is Leeching Strikes. This is your main sustain tool. When you activate this, your light and heavy attacks heal you for 1600 health and restore 106 stamina for 20 seconds. Fully charged heavy attacks obviously restore twice the value. But also, if you let this run for the full duration, it restores up to 4.2k additional stamina when the effect ends. And the last skill is Enrage. This is from the Undaunted skill line. This is the ranged taunt. And it also provides my allies with a synergy. And the ultimate is Bolstering Darkness. Now, there are also alternative skills that you can use, especially if you're running with no healer. One of those is Refreshing Path, which gives you and your group major expedition, increasing your movement speed by 30%, and it also heals you and your allies for 1549. So let's imagine this table is a boss. Your group is down here where they should be. You're up here, and when you cast this, everyone on the path is going to get major expedition plus 1500 health every 1 second for 12 seconds. Another skill I want to mention is Lotus Fan. When you use this on a group of enemies, it afflicts them with minor vulnerability for 10 seconds, increasing their damage taken by 5%. So this makes trash pack fights in dungeons that much easier. And the last skill I want to mention is Dark Shade. When you use this, you summon this kind of shadowy figure to fight alongside you, and this guy runs towards the enemies and inflicts minor maim, reducing the enemy's damage done by 5% for 4 seconds, which again makes your life that much easier. I would like to mention a couple of passives that are extremely useful for this tank build, and one of them is Resourceful. It increases your max magic and max stamina by 1000, but since you are an Argonian, every time you drink a potion, you restore 3.1k health, magic and stamina. As a tank, you mostly use the Tri-Stat potions, which give you 9.3k health, 7.6k magic and stamina, but you get additional 3.1k on top of that. The Executioner passive is fantastic for your sustain. When an enemy dies within 2 seconds of being damaged by you, you restore 1000 magic and stamina. And Hemorrhage, with an assassination ability slotted, which is this one here, dealing critical damage grants you and your group minus savagery, increasing your weapon critical rating by 1314 for 20 seconds. So every time you're on your back bar and your Blockade of Frost crits, you and your group get this unique buff, which is unique to Nightblades. The Refreshing Shadows increases your health, stamina and magic recovery by 15%. Shadow Barrier, casting a shadow ability, grants you Major Resolve for 6 seconds, increasing your physical and spell resistance by 6k. This duration is increased by 25% for each piece of heavy armor equipped. As you can see, the current duration is 15 seconds, and every time you use Dark Cloak to get the heal and gain minor protection, you also get 6k resistances on top of that. Or every time you cast Refreshing Path or Dark Shadow or Mass Hysteria, or even the Bolstering Darkness ultimate, which is tied to our next passive called Dark Vigor. Increases your max health by 3% for each shadow ability slotted. This is why I have Dark Cloak slotted on the front bar and Bolstering Darkness on the back bar. This ultimate is kind of the oh shit button, because it provides you with major protection, reducing your damage taken by 10%, and also allies in the area can activate a synergy healing them for 23k health over 4 seconds. Catalyst, fantastic passive. Every time you drink a potion, you gain 20 ultimate. Magicka Flood increases your max magicka by 8% while a siphoning ability is slotted. Soul Siphoner increases your healing done by 3% for each siphoning ability slotted. And Transfer, casting a siphoning ability while in combat, generates 2 ultimates. So these are all absolutely fantastic passive abilities. Now, the first gear set that I want to mention is tied to this ability, Echoing Vigor, which is also tied to the Soul Siphoner passive. And the gear set is Powerful Assault. I must mention up front that this is not a cheap gear set to get. The Ice Staff of Powerful Assault can cost anything between 2 and 4 million, maybe even more, in guild stores. Or you can get it yourself, but to do so you will have to go to Imperial City, farm a lot of Telvar, buy Powerful Assault boxes and hope you get lucky. So what this set gives you is maximum health, maximum stamina, weapon and spell damage, which is all very nice. But when you cast an assault ability while in combat, you and up to 5 group members within 10 meters gain 300 weapon and spell damage for 10 seconds. As I mentioned previously, this tank can be a healer as well, because you're using Echoing Vigor every 10 seconds, which provides your group with some nice healing. But it also provides them with 300 weapon and spell damage. The Ice Staff is infused with the Crusher enchant, so our Blockade of Frost could proc the Crusher enchantment. I'm also using the necklace and ring. Both are infused with reduced prismatic cost enchantments. This reduces the health, magicka and stamina cost of abilities by 201 in purple quality, which again helps you with your sustain. And I'm also using the belt. The next gear piece that I want to mention is Death Dealer's Fate. And you may ask, why Death Dealer's Fate? That's a kind of damage dealer's mythic item. Which is true, but if you look at the description, every time you're in combat, you gain a persistent stack of escalating fates every 2 seconds, which increases your max stamina, health and magicka by 88. When you look at your skills, this is tied to your max health. This as well. The damage shield portion of this ability. And also your next gear set, which is Battalion Defender. This set gives you maximum health, maximum stamina, 4% healing done, which means this is going to be boosted by the set. But it also, after successfully blocking, it heals yourself or a group member within 15 meters for 2.7k health. This effect can occur every 1 second and scales off your max health. So this provides you with a lot of resources. Max stamina, max magicka, plus a lot of max health. Which means that all your heals, your shields, and the 5th piece bonus of the Battalion Defender set will be that much stronger because of Death Dealer's Fate. This is infused with reducing the cost of block enchantments. Again, infused, I mean all of the jewelry pieces are infused to get the most out of the enchantments. And the next gear set is Heavy Chest of the Trainee. This is here to give me even more maximum health. And the monster set that I'm using is Magma Incarnate. This gives me 129 magic and stamina recovery, which is fantastic. And when I heal myself or a group member with a single target heal ability, this one here, it grants the lowest health group member within 28 meters minor courage and minor resolve, increasing their weapon and spell damage by 215 and armor by 2.9k for 10 seconds. Daedric energy will then bounce to a nearby group member within 8 meters up to 3 times, applying minor courage and minor resolve for 10 seconds. This effect can occur once every 15 seconds, so like I've mentioned, this powerful assault effect or bonus or weapon and damage buff stacks with all other weapon and damage buffs. So all in all, you provide your group with 515 weapon and spell damage. All the big armor pieces are infused, meaning head, chest and legs, again to get the most out of the enchantments. And all the small pieces, meaning shoulders, hands, belt and feet, are sturdy. And all the glyphs are the prismatic glyphs. Now for the champion points, the green tree doesn't really matter what you use. When I'm tanking, I'm using the Rationer, Liquid Efficiency and Treasure Hunter. When I'm running around in the world, I'm using the Master Gatherer and Plentiful Harvest, because you never know what you may find in the world. The blue tree, I'm using Ironclad, which is down here in the middle, this one here. It reduces your damage taken by direct damage attacks by 2% per stage. Duelist rebuff reduces your damage taken by single target attacks by 2% per stage. Enduring Resolve reduces your damage taken by damage over time attacks by 2% per stage. And Unassailable, these are all down here, as you can see. Unassailable reduces your damage taken by AoE attacks by 2% per stage again. If you are running with 3DDs with no healer, you can take, instead of Ironclad, you can take Swift Renewal. Increases your healing done with healing over time effects by 2% per stage, which will boost your Echoing Vigor. The tooltip says 10.2k. Let's go back. So 10.2. It goes to 11.1. So it's a nice boost to your healing if you're running as a 3DD group. In the red tree, I'm using Boundless Vitality, Fortified, more health, more armor, Rejuvenation, more sustain, and Expert Evasion. Your next roll dodge is free of cost. After consuming this effect, you cannot gain it again for 30 seconds. So every 30 seconds you can dodge roll for free. It doesn't cost you anything. Which is extremely useful, especially during boss fights when there's big hits incoming and you either have to block them or dodge. But you may be low on stamina when you're on your front bar or magicka when you're on your back bar. So the best or the safest option would be to dodge roll. You can do that for free. Obviously, it takes 30 seconds to recharge. But again, as you can see, it didn't cost me anything now. So this is what I use for the CPs. So this was my Nightblade tank build. It's been tried and tested many times in dungeons and arenas. It works, it's a lot of fun, it's something different, and I hope you will like it. So I will thank you guys for watching. Go out there, have fun, and I will see you next time.